I'm just going live just a little bit earlier. We got my moot coming in. How y'all doing? But I wanted to talk about Mahmoud. I'm gonna bring you in a second. I see you, brother. But I wanted to say shout out to Navy Federal. I was just at Navy Federal. Yeah, I gotta switch some things up. So I appreciate the love at Navy Federal. I appreciate the young brothers that came up to me with the love and the respect. You know, I love that positive energy, even though I was looking a little bit like, gotta be careful nowadays. But I appreciate the positive feedback and the respect. I also wanted to say shout out to Faison Love. I heard him on Vlad TV. You a real one, Faison. Vlad brought my name up, and of course, these guys read from the same script. He said, "Oh, I'm friends with Charlemagne the God," and then he say, "Well, Kwame be going off on people. He be cursing people out." And then he asked him, Faison asked him, he said, "Well, what is he saying?" He said, "Well, oh, wait. I ain't gonna get into all that. That's just Charlemagne got to deal with that." And Faison said, "Well, what is he saying?" He said, "Well, you're gonna have to look it up." Because Faison said, "I'm gonna go look it up and see what he's saying. Because he must be saying something that's facts." Yes, Vlad, it's easy to see you, boy. You don't even know me. You ain't never mentioned the old busted bus #1 draft pick that made history that can inspire black children, whether you think he played well or not. Somebody out of a free lunch line that can show other kids that make it play better than me. I understand you ain't connected to nothing though. That's why you over here in this country talking black hip hop and black politics. Where you from, boy? You ain't talking about nothing about where you from, is you? Yeah. See, Faison, you a real one. I appreciate that. I respect that. Because this boy here well protected. This Charlemagne the Queen, he well protected. But anyway, without further ado, we're gonna invite Mahmoud Mohammed Abdul Rahif. I gotta let him say it on himself because I'm a little
Hey, I love the effort, big fella.
let me leave that to you.
Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Man, so you've been hearing me, and I know the young fellas don't know who you are, and I don't like the comparisons. So before we start, because I think every man's name should stand alone. And your name definitely is one of those names that should stand alone. So could you educate the young brothers on kind of your background, where you're from?
I'm from Gulfport, Mississippi. I ended up raised by a single parent, my mother. Went 2 years at LSU. Was fortunate to play 9 years in the league. After that, I went about 7 years overseas. Yeah, man, came out of poverty. Misdiagnosed a large portion of my life. Ended up being diagnosed with Tourette syndrome around 11th grade. So all up until that time, just was told that I had habits, and that's the misinformation that I used to give people. Yeah, but pretty much, man, I'm sure we're gonna get into the meat of it as we begin to talk. But in a nutshell, that's who I am.
Yeah, and see, you kind of downplaying it because to me, this go along, get along game that I described, people don't actually know what that really entails, and people don't actually know how deep, how low it goes, and how high it goes. Everything is being controlled by perception and how the media make a person look. And so uh, whoever they want to make look good, you remember what Lyndon Baines Johnson said. He said, if you're gonna get a leader, we're gonna give them to you. So the guys, to me, in my opinion, that they don't bring to the light. Now, I've been around you, and I kind of go off of feeling. I tell people, I'm Geechee. I got that third eye watching me, so I can tell energy. And the energy that you can bring to children, the way you still love this game, just look at the way you look at your age. And I've seen your work ethic. The way you can teach young males from that situation that you've come from, to me, I mean, that's priceless. And guys like you and guys like Craig Hodges, to me, guys like you guys get buried. It's like we don't want individuals. So a lot of people give you Kaepernick comparisons. So can you speak about what kind of stunted your career in the NBA and kind of why you're getting these Kaepernick comparisons?
Oh man, I mean, you already know, but for the sake of making it public, like I do so many other times, man, anytime, and I speak about this a lot, anytime in particular, a black man, especially in positions of notoriety, of fame, of visibility, and I love the term, to go along, get along. As long as you do that, you're safe.
Yeah.
But when you step outside of that box and you begin to display a certain conscience, right? And you begin to speak your conscience, and if it's outside of their politics, if outside of their agenda, then of course they label you. And so in a nutshell, this is when it all started. As long as I was in the league and there wasn't this threat, then I was safe. But when I began to challenge views and ideologies and debate on the bus and on the plane, you would see, and I would do it sometimes intentionally, you would see, if you're looking at the back of my head, anytime we were talking about foolishness, everything was cool. But when you start talking about religion and society and politics and all of these things and government, you see the heads doing this. Like, here they go again. Here they go. And then you begin to see how things begin to shift. They start treating you differently and putting that subtle pressure on you, trying to make you conform. But I'd made up my mind a long time ago. And I say this all the time, Kwame. I've been saying it for years. Because you grow up and your environment has a way of molding and shaping you. The people you're around, the societies you're around. And if you keep hearing the same stories like, well, you just got to play the game, right? You start growing up playing the game. And what happens, you end up being that person that you're not really living, you're just surviving. And I didn't want to survive, no, I wanted to live. And so I made a conscious decision that, you know what, my goal in life from here on out, this many years ago, that I want to live and die with a free conscience and a free soul, regardless of what people think. So there are always risk involved with that. And so as a result of that, this is what began to change the course of my career. In a nutshell, you know, they didn't like my politics. They didn't like what I stood for. And the same, like even when you look at, this is just not a Muslim thing. When you look at AC Green may not have been so much political, but because he was wearing his Christianity on his chest, he was like viewed differently because he wasn't in that country club, you know, of ideas and behavior. So this is what did it and continues to do it.
Mm-hmm. So I talk about company policy. I say that's un-American. That's what's the mechanism that they're using to control people, because they keep telling us that you gotta look. They know how to use words very well. They say it's a free country. You can say what you want, but it's company policy. But that company is operating in America.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot cut off people's rights. We have rights to freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going on now is that men and women are not having healthy dialogues. Is we better go along and get along whatever that's in the mainstream media, we better agree with it or you're fired.
Of course.
So what do you think about that?
I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And this has been the way it's been, as they say, from time immemorial. People in power, people in those positions don't want their power threatened. There's a book, man, called the White Architects of a Black Education. And they say in order to justify slavery and colonialism and imperialism and all of these things, the textbook was used as often as the bullet, because language is powerful. Ideologies are powerful. Before there's chemical warfare, biological warfare, chemical warfare, there's propaganda warfare. So when you can be crafty and sophisticated with the language, right, and you can convince people, and I say this all the time, man, when the names are incorrect, the language doesn't lead towards truth, and the language don't lead towards truth, it's impossible to develop success.
Right.
So we have to begin to define things in its correct way. You speak about that a lot, the value of words and things of this nature. But that's been their way since the beginning of time, and we have to become more adept at what words mean, because your words and what you think influences your behavior. Your behavior forms your character, and your character determines your fate. But if you're working from incorrect definitions, especially about definition of who we are, what our culture is, our sense of worth, then we're always susceptible to someone else's interpretation of who we are, and that's dangerous. Randall Robinson says something in his book. I think it was Debt: What America Owes to Blacks, or either it's Quitting America. I can't remember the one. But he said, never in the course of history have millions been deprived of everything except respiratory function, language, culture, family, daughters, sons, religion, you name it, and still considered menaces to society. Right. And so there's just so much we have to cover. And look, man, I'm gonna just tell you, and I know this is not the conversation. I appreciate you. I appreciate your candor. I remember when we went to speak, we were on the same team at Big Three. I still wish you was on our team. You know what I mean? But when we went and sat at Joe and Juice.
Oh, yeah.
We go over there, we sit down, man. I said this to somebody else. I said, I appreciate, man, his candor. He's genuine. He's articulate. He's intelligent. Not that should be a surprise. It's something about when we're athletes, we get like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Look, man,
he can talk.
Intelligent people. We're intelligent. We read. We study.
Yeah. Right?
But so many times people put us in a box. And so it's nice to see, man, that you have this platform. And at the same time, after all of these years, 20 something years of being attacked, the patience that you've displayed, right? Sitting back, trying to give people a pass, hoping that, okay, I'm trying to give you a pass now, but you keep on doing this, the beat's going to come out. And it's just a matter of time when people are going to fight back.
Yeah.
And it's no fun when the rabbits got the gun.
Right. And so that leads me to my next question. Like, I'm taking a lot of heat. I mean, I've gotten so many phone calls about Charlemagne the God. I've gotten so many phone calls, and my name is being wrapped up in now all these different circles. TMZ is now talking about me. My family has come up on the Breakfast Club. I've been the #1 draft pick for 20 years, and I've never made the Breakfast Club. I never was able to tell the other side of the story to inspire the kids. But the first time I'm on the Breakfast Club is to say that my father is a murderer and my brother is a murderer and all these things. Right. And I'm like, wow, like they're really doing what I said that they would do before I started this whole thing.
Right.
And they're doing it for the people to see. And then they're turning right back around and calling the people just followers and uneducated. So like from a person who's had his life railroaded by this go along, get along game, and somebody who's now experiencing, well, I've experienced it 20 years ago, but I'm experiencing it again. Yeah. What do you say to people about the go along, get along game, and what can we do to circumvent this go along, get along game?
it's all about exposure. You know, they have a platform, and you mentioned how they know who to hire, right? And a lot of these individuals, in order to stay hired, you have to speak a certain way, and you have to speak about people in a certain way. And you mentioned a lot about how there's so much tearing down, in particular of us.
Yeah.
Like mostly every facet of society, we're the ones who get it the most.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately, we oftentimes get it from people that look like us.
Look exactly like this.
There's a justification that they try to justify by, well, this is just business, right? This is what we're supposed to do.
We just talking about his game while saying he's so insignificant that don't even be mentioned in a trade. But that's just about basketball.
Of course, and it's bad business. They know it, but they try to justify it. So my thing is about exposure. So any chance that we have, because they have this platform, and so millions of people watch them. So what you're doing by creating this platform for yourself, and other people have to create platforms to where we have to hold them accountable. I mean, truly accountable. You know, let's hold them accountable. But no. It's time that when you make a mistake or you do something intentional, whatever you want to call it, and you go out there and you start making this personal. It's not like you said. It's not about, okay, this game, my skill, but you get my family involved. You calling me garbage. You know, it's name calling, all of these negative epithets. Then no, I have a right to defend myself, and I have the right to expose you if what you're saying is false. Right. Even then, man, for me, even if sometimes things are truthful, you know, as a Muslim, there's a concept called backbiting and slander. Backbiting is such that even if I know something about you and it's true, but I know that if I say it, it's going to hurt you tremendously, or it's going to have your family to look at you in a certain way, I'm prohibited from saying that publicly. Now,
and see, that's what confused, not to cut you off, that's what confused me about Brother Jack. When I tried to reach out to him behind the scenes, he went on with the arrogance. You know, he went to texting on Instagram and went to talking, and even went so far to say my life is dirt. And then now he's giving these motivational speaks like I'm just some guy who's just attacking people. And I'm just like, you don't understand the way that you're talking to me, my brother. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
And that's all this was about, was respect.
No, I get it. And when you lie, that's on a whole nother level. That's slander. Right. And so, you know, for us, there's a saying, and I know within Christianity, and I'm sure within Judaism, there's these same principles. But it said, look, speak out against injustice. Speak out against injustice, even if it's against yourself, your family, your near of kin. So if something is wrong, it's wrong. Whether it's your Muslim brother who's doing it, whether it's somebody else who's doing it. And so we just have to get better. We have to be smarter. We can't play the game and give these people what they want by constantly tearing ourselves down. And I love the fact that you keep mentioning the importance of being a benefit and influencing the youth. Yeah. And by look, man, and you said this countless of times, and I'm not on social media a lot in terms of YouTube, but I've listened. And when you're constantly mentioning and tearing people down, but then you turn around, these children aren't stupid. Right. They may not necessarily communicate it, you know, or articulate it, or address it, but they're not stupid. So when you're on one platform and you're tearing athletes down and you're calling them names outside of the skill, and you're making it personal, talking about their character, then all of a sudden you go to the school and you want to talk about unity, and you want, man, that's hypocritical. Right. And that's the thing, like, people to take you seriously. Right. And that's the thing, like Cam Newton, that thing with Cam Newton, where that young man challenged Cam Newton in the way that he did. When I grew up, every football coach would have slung that young man to the ground and made him do up downs and made him do something to earn the right to get back into that camp. Yeah. And so now they're calling that toxic, but you're raising these young men to be out of control. Yeah, and if you look at the streets, you're never supposed to come up to Cam Newton like that just because of what he represents. He's a black man. At one point, they wouldn't even let black men play quarterback.
So it's like these young kids are not connected to nothing. We all joking and playing and buying pretty shoes, but where's that connection that we used to have in your generation? And I know that in your generation, the so-called leaders, they were attacked, they were firebombed, they were thrown in prison, they had to leave. The leaders we have today get to move into the whitest neighborhoods. They get flown to the protests. They get to walk through the jails and come out with their fist up. They cute, they pretty, they rich.
That's right.
I'm getting more flack. Your life has been railroaded harder than some of our leaders. What do you say to that?
When it's all said and done, there's a certain leader that I'm close to. Back in the day, he said something to me that made sense. He said, when you hear yourself, especially by corporate elite, media, all of these people, when you hear these types of people saying good things about you, be concerned.
Right.
Most likely you're doing something wrong. When these same groups of people are attacking you, you must be doing something right.
Boy, they coming after me.
No, hey, and look, that a lot of it is because why? You're exposing them.
Yeah.
And they don't like it. The shoe is on the other foot now. And you have a platform. People are listening to you. And it's like I said before when I texted you a while back, ain't no fun when the rabbits they had the gun for so long. They've been hunting and they've been killing. So now the rabbits got the gun. Now they don't know how to act. Getting real sensitive. And the best thing a lot of them should have done, and I was talking to one of my brothers about this, matter of fact, I'm here in Mississippi now. We was talking prior to this conversation. The best thing they could have done, man, is, you mentioned this before, man. I called them. I try to talk to them like men. The best thing, look, if what you did was wrong, just apologize.
It would have been done.
Just apologize. Let it be. But yet we want to justify it. We want to talk around it. And you put yourself more in the hole. Especially with a brother like yourself. Yeah. Because, look, I can tell by just listening to you. You've done your research. You took your notes. So you just waiting for it. Like, really, you want to go there? Look, man, you said before, this can all be over. Yeah. If you just leave me alone.
They won't listen.
And still we got this arrogance, like we want to keep talking.
Right.
If you really about building, if you really about unity, sometimes even that saying goes, let's agree to disagree as long as it's not rooted in my oppression. So, okay, man, look, you know what? I apologize. How can we change this? How can we make this right? How can we, like you said, why don't we, instead of buying all of these things and doing all of this, why don't we get together and build youth programs? Right. Why don't we teach these children not only how to read, but how to think? Yes. How to be a critical thinker, how to problem solve. Yep. If you're really about what you say you are,
it's easy to do.
Hypocritical. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And now it's like y'all keep on, and the man said, it's quite simple. You leave me alone, this can all be over. Right. But see now they can't, because it's interrupting business now. Yep. They can't. You got people on YouTube now starting to actually believe that they can compete with the ESPNs of the world. I did it from an iPhone 8. True. And you said something earlier about the Cam Newton thing, man. I think also the reason a lot of children come up the way they do and talk to these people is the same thing you're talking about. When you're watching Sports Center and all of these programs, and they're constantly tearing people down, that becomes the norm in people's mind. That's what I was thinking about. It becomes fun. Oh, we just playing around, we having fun. Ain't nothing fun, man, about lying. Yep. And about trying to tear somebody down. If anything, just say, hey, man, he had a terrible game tonight. We're human. We have those games. But as well as I do, controversy sells. People want to hear that. Yeah. They want to hear you trash somebody in this country. Right. And that's just bad business. At some point, we got to decide what's more important, man. Making that cheese, making that money, or being ethical, doing the right thing. You get way more in life by being humble and doing the right thing than by doing the wrong thing. And it may
Right.
seem like it's cool right now. It may seem like you benefit, but really in the long run,
You're gonna lose.
It's more damaging to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So look at what Brother Craig Hodges said, that Stephen A. Smith, because they keep saying that he just talks about basketball, but Craig Hodges said he was upset that they didn't interview him for The Last Dance. He said he said Stephen A. Smith went on TV and said, "Oh, he just mad he broke and this and that, and he's just scrunno." You know, you talking about this man is a Q dog. He's supposed to love the bros. He's supposed to be all about black. He went on TV after I called him out wearing a black. See, they always virtue signal. You know, they study us, so they know that a white woman with hot sauce will make us say, "Woo, she down with us." Mm-hmm. See, it's all about who we like. When they started this whole experiment with Instagram and Facebook, they unvalidate me by saying, "Oh, you don't have a blue check." I'm like, I don't need a blue check. I got my mama's cooking. Like, that's a dish? Like, are you serious? So we got the minds of these people all about who we like and don't like. Notice what they did with this election. Charlemagne the God, they went to a guy who's throwing bunkies all around the Breakfast Club, showing little kids to rub lotion on the butt and having DJ Envy stick his finger in these little plastic butts on the Breakfast Club. Brings Donnell Rawlings up there, throw bunkies at him while he's trying to talk about his intellectual property and his movie deals. So he won't even respect this brother. Turn the lights off on him when he started trying to talk about his stuff. They walked out. So this is what they do at the Breakfast Club. Wow. This is what we're putting on TV.
Wow.
And when somebody say, and you call that out, now you're aggressive, you're violent, you're all these things.
Oh, of course. Of course. They're deflect. They want to deflect. Yeah.
They're getting people used to dysfunction.
Of course.
Because if that was a woman sitting in that chair, that would be sexual assault. Right. But if it's a man, you can just push sex toys at him, I guess. I don't know. And so this is the type of stuff we got to deal with as black men. We can't even get our products pushed. They won't even take a black man serious. They let Joe Biden say, "Hey, you know, if you're not black, if you don't vote for me." Charlemagne the God didn't ask him any more questions. The president brought Cardi B on. Not somebody that's going to ask him questions back and forth. Brought Cardi B, a rapper.
Right.
And she even said, "I'm here because I got a large following." So it's all about who we like and who we follow.
Yeah, of course.
These people don't even give you a plan before they get elected. So what are we doing with this like and follow generation? Why are we not connected to the elders? And that's why, to me, people like you, people like Judge Joe Brown, people like Craig Hodges, I want to open up for you guys to come on my platform more, because young people need to hear from you guys, because you guys are a generation that was connected to something that they buried your voice very quickly.
Yeah, of course. Of course. No, that's powerful. That's powerful. You know, it's man, this is a long process. You already know it. There's so much damage that has been done. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we know that, but yet we also have to begin to tell those stories, like you said, about the great successes, because we have so many successes, we have so many geniuses, we have so many intellectuals among ourselves, but those are the stories you don't hear as much. And that's we can't, like you gave the example of at the Breakfast Club, all of those little things that they were doing. This is how do I say it? This is a detriment, you know, to our elevating ourselves. You know what I mean? Elevating ourselves. This is definitely a detriment. And we have to, it goes back to what you said. What do? We have to begin to expose these things, this buffoonery, right? We have to expose it every chance we get. Like, this doesn't benefit our race. This doesn't add to our legacy. You know, George Washington Carver said something. He says, "No one has the right to come into this world, then go out of it without leaving behind distinct and legitimate reasons for having passed through it." That ain't legitimate, right? Those type of things. And we have to work on leaving a legacy worth leaving.
Right.
You know, Knowledge, Frederick Douglass, knowledge doesn't befit a man to be a slave. When you begin to understand who you are and what your worth is and your value, and you talk about this a lot, walking like a man, being a man, is when you become a man, you begin to hear these things. We hear it all the time. Aggressive, violent.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and we have to change that narrative. And we have to, because the media continues to use it. Film industry continue to show us this way. Sports continue to relate us to being athletes and strong and not intelligent and high IQ. We have to, every chance we get, if we're live, if we're on YouTube, if we're social, we have to destroy this language when it comes to us, so that our young people can begin to start using the same language. And as we use that languages, we're gonna walk differently. We're gonna navigate through life differently. Right? We're gonna look to befriend certain people that's walking that way. Right? And at the same time, those who aren't, we're gonna try to bring you up. But if you can't, there's a saying in Islam, lakum dinukum waliyadin, to you be your way and to me be mine.
Right.
But I gotta keep it moving.
Right.
Because we're trying to build something. We ain't trying to tear it down.
Right. And man, that's crazy, man. That's beautiful. And I just wish we can get to the point where we all can, like you said, I don't know how to say that little phrase again. Say it one more time.
Lakum dinukum waliyadin, to you be your way and to me be mine.
I like that. To you be your way, to me be
yeah, man.
That's awesome, man, because it seemed like we're pit against each other. We're taught to fight each other. And it seems like that's our only way out. It's like Dr. Boyce Watkins said something to me that was startling. He said in his own interview, he said, Kwame, he said that I know they are mad. He said, he referenced they. He said, I know they are mad that Kwame can't be controlled, and he loves black people. He's for the black people, and he's intelligent. And then he went on to say, I know they're really upset that there's no white man that can call him and get him in line. And I said, wow, this guy's a doctor and he admitted that on YouTube.
That's powerful.
So how many guys, I asked him, I said, Doc, what's up, Doc? I said, how many guys you know? Because first of all, how you know the rules and the ropes? He's like the liaison to give me a message or something. I don't know. He knows all the ropes and what's going to happen and what they'll do. And so I asked him, like, who are these people you're talking about? How many black people you know that's being controlled by this white man that can get him in line? He hadn't answered me yet. But is that what you typically had to deal with when you were coming up?
Oh, man, no question. You know, when you were talking, I was just thinking about scenarios. And, oh, shoot, there's another one that just came in my head, too. You know, when I didn't stand for the flag, Bernie Bickerstaff called me. We were playing Orlando that day. And I come to the gym, man, and Jim Gillen looks at me. He said, hey, Bernie wants to see you down the hall. I said, okay, no problem. So I go. I'm talking to Bernie. Said the NBA called. They want to talk to you. Really, they want to convince you to stand.
To go along,
get along. Two guys. Exactly. And so the two guys on the phone, I can't remember their names, but they identified themselves as Jewish and working for the NBA. Now, still to this day, I don't know if Adam Silver, because he's not a commissioner, if he was one of those people. But they ended up talking to me and trying to convince me to stand. And I said, listen, man, I said, do what you will, but I'm not going to stand. And they gave me an example, like an example. They're Jewish, and they gave me a Jewish example. Nothing wrong with that. But I said, well, you know, I appreciate it, but that doesn't apply to me. I said, so do what you got to do, and I do what I got to do. So they suspended me. But and then even when I was in Vancouver, Dick Versace called me up because prior to coming, you know, like you talk about being a man a lot, right? And being a man is hard, but it's refreshing, right?
Yeah.
You know, the fact that you can go to sleep with a clean conscience,
right?
You know, standing up to your position. So before
right.
going to Vancouver, I said, listen, man, I don't want to come unless if I get in the shape I'm supposed to be in, that you're gonna play me, right? If I'm worth my weight in gold. So we had that agreement. Everybody had agreed that, hey, man, Mahmoud he's gotten in shape. He's killing everybody in practice. This is when Bibby was on the team, but they still wouldn't play me. But they wanted to put me on the injured list. So I said, no, I'm not going on the injured list. So he calls me to the office. We have like a 40-minute conversation. So what ended that career was, because I had a 2-year deal. The second year was their option. First year, of course, is guaranteed. And what killed that deal was I challenged authority. Because I said, I'm not getting on the list. So we had a 40-minute conversation, and I ended up telling him in his face, I said, look, man, we had a conversation before I got on, came to this ball club. I said, for me, it's bigger than basketball. I said, but I know my worth. I know what my level of skill can be or is. I said, all I asked you was if I get to the point where I'm in shape and I'm producing, just play me. I'm not coming back to sit on somebody's bench when I still have years left. But you didn't do that. I said, your coaches, players have stated that Mahmoud is dominating practice. You put me in a couple of games that year, I think against Steve Francis, I think it was 28 points in 26 minutes, and one in DC, 21 points in 19 minutes. But yet I still can't get on the court, but you want me to go on the injured list. I said, and I told him in his face, I said, look, you're not a man of your word, right? And, you know, when you talk to presidents like that, that doesn't come off too good. They don't like when you're forceful and you're for sure about yourself. And really, Kwame, that's what in terms of being in Vancouver, that's why they didn't take that other deal that other year. Even though I was leading the team in scoring per minutes, everybody in the league during that year, even Jordan, you know, points per minute, they didn't bring me back. And then after that, of course, the HBO interview after 9/11, you know what I mean? It's like, excuse my language, this nigga won't shut up. You know what I mean? God dang. You know what I mean? He's gonna speak his conscience. So that's one of the. But I told myself, I don't, like you say, I'm not gonna be one of those go along to get along.
Right.
I've done that. I was taught that from an early age, and then when I began to read and study and look at people like Malcolm and Patrice Lumumba's and Nkrumah's and reading all of these history, I'm like, hold on, man. These people are the people now. When we look at history, these are the people that we admire. We look up to. Man, this is what I'm talking about. I want to be like that. I don't want to be known just being a play. I said, if all you remember of me is he could have a mean crossover and he can shoot basketball, I have a wasted life. Right.
You know, that's what I mean by these dudes not connected to nothing. And so
exactly.
Let me ask you this. So with the guys like Stephen A. Smith and all of the media, how they try to frame me is that I'm upset because I'm mad about being a bust, and that's the only reason why I'm making up the go along, get along game. So for the fans that identify with this word bust, that word has never been attached to you. So my whole thing was never about the go along, get along gang getting on you for being a bust or whatever, because it doesn't matter if you're a bust. It matters if you're an individual and you don't go along with their get along gang. You don't meet the criteria of a bust. So can you please make it understood for the casual fan that's listening to Stephen A. and these news outlets that's identifying like what they're doing as just attacking players that are bad at the game? Because you definitely wasn't bad at the game.
When you say, well, no, look, you weren't bad at the game.
Right, but I just want them to remove me from it.
Listen, man, any of us, this is a small group, 300 and something, I don't know the number. When you look at billions of people, not even, when you look at the amount of people, I think when I was coming up, it was like 700 and something to one that would make it to the NBA. Now, when you factor in the overseas market and everywhere else, it's probably well over 1 million to 1. There's no way in hell, excuse my language.
No, give it to them raw.
that a person that makes it to the league, now you may not end up being or doing what you wanted to do, and there's a whole bunch of different variables.
Yeah.
When people that's been in the league, and I was listening to you, I said, okay, this is his side. I don't know that side. But what he's saying, not knowing both sides, that stuff happens. The pressure that's put on players, you know, whether it's the subtle racism. Look, I've had players where Darnell Meek, he got injured. They rushed him through his
Rehab,
rehabilitation,
mm-hmm.
only to get him to have surgery when he got a rod in his leg.
Mm-hmm.
They put him on the court real quick, got rid of him.
Yep.
Right? They do that.
Yep.
A lot of stuff I said, man, what he's talking about really happens.
Yeah.
And then
work me out 3 hours for the game.
They'll take away from their mistakes and
mm-hmm.
their flaws and try to project it on somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did you say? I lost my train of thought, man, because I'm emotional about this thing. This thing pisses me off.
Take your time, because I know that's why we got to have you on here more. Like I said, we need to do a weekly thing where I got to have one, maybe two. We can have a Zoom call where we can get more people on. We got to reconnect the elders with the youth, because
I agree.
It's time out for these young guys to look at a guy who make it to the 1%. When most of us are from the inner city, most of us come from single mothers, either by force or by, them making a decision.
That's far from a bust.
Exactly. And then you make it to that 1%, and you have a young black boy that haven't accomplished nothing yet talk to Cam Newton like he talked to him. Talk to me like you talked to him. And like, it's crazy. Now, let me ask you this. Why do you think, because nobody won't answer this question, and you are an articulate brother, why was Stephen A. Smith going to colleges and high schools about a basketball player?
Why what?
Stephen A. Smith, he was going around on a world tour to colleges and high schools speaking about me, even 10 years into my career. Do you know why would he do something like that?
Oh man, I can think of many reasons. It could be that he has something personal against you. That could be one reason. It could be that he's gotten so caught up in what's the word you use? Bringing down, destroying black people, that these things, talking about people in particular, especially when it's outside of basketball, has become the norm. Like sometimes people do it for so long, it becomes so normal, they don't see a problem with it until people like you begin to bark back. Then they get soft and sensitive. And then still, instead of saying, I apologize, well, he's mad because. He's mad because. And they don't want to admit that they're wrong.
They can never. They got this godlike complex.
True.
Dr. Boyce said he only want 10% of us.
There's a level of arrogance with that. You keep doing that because you haven't been challenged. And a lot of people don't have that platform to be heard day in and day out like you. But you're different. One, you have visibility. You have a name, right? You have visibility, and you went out there and you've created an audience. And see, they didn't expect this. And so it's caught them by surprise. And their feelings are hurt. So now it's like, you know what, man? I can't let him win. And so that arrogance and that pride keeps them going.
Go get him mama's cookie.
Just saying, you know what, Kwame? You're absolutely correct. But don't now apologize to Kwame and then go on the same night and you're going to do the same thing to somebody else. See, you didn't mean what you said. Right.
Because they're attacking Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. There seem to be these two brothers on the news cycle every day. And then I started watching Kyrie Irving and some of the things he said in the interviews, and he's talking something bigger than basketball. And that's one thing you can't do while playing. He wore a hat that said fathers matter on several occasions in post-game. They don't want to hear stuff like that.
They don't.
Yeah, LeVar Ball, they made him seem crazy. They don't dig into the women that come in and bring these kids that, LeVar Ball to me is very important. He took the heat for his son, so they don't have to say anything. You can't approach them any kind of way because the daddy coming and he coming aggressive, he coming bold, and he saying, stay in your lane and you can call me whatever, but my son's going to be covered. And people don't really understand the importance of that.
Yeah. We need that type of strength more. And unfortunately, a lot of our men have been emasculated. They've grown feminine, they've grown soft. And we've the grow along, get along. We've succumbed to just playing the game, as opposed to, you know what, man, I'm gonna live and down principles, whether you like it or not.
Right.
Right. And we need more of it. Of course, you know, man, it's not gonna happen overnight.
Man.
Right. And most of us, unfortunately, I think most of us aren't gonna get it. But what we do is we continue to work on those, or we work with those who got it, and we build with each other. And along the way, when they see this building process, a lot of them will come on in because some of them not gonna be there in the initial stages. Some gonna see it and say, "Oh, I want to be okay. No problem. You wasn't here in the beginning, but I see you trying to make a difference. Come on in. We're gonna bring you in."
Right.
But we're gonna have to work on ourselves and work on attaching ourselves to people that share our ideology and our goals. And then from there, stragglers will come along. And at the same time, too, they're going to be people, let's just face it, they're going to die ignorant.
Right.
They're gonna die not unifying. And our heart goes out, but we can't spend too much time on them. That's just a hard reality.
Right.
We got to work with those who are willing to work with us, and whoever comes along the way, fine.
Exactly.
Those people, if you want to stay in that state of ignorance, right, then to you be your way, to me be mine.
Exactly. That's good. Hey, look, I'm gonna use that now. I like that.
Yeah.
To you be your way, to me be mine.
So we all using somebody's stuff.
Exactly. It's supposed to be flattering. I appreciate that. I'm gonna add that. That is nice. And like I say, I'm in the process of building the studio, and so I want to have it to where I can bring some elders together, whether it be in person or either over Zoom. But I want to make it where it can be in person, where players can come and just talk and share stories and just show these young kids. Because now, to me, these kids are getting so watered down because they're skipping so many steps and just watching this game now that's been watered down so much to become a product. They don't understand the value in a pick. They don't understand the value of a Mutombo getting the ball and giving it to a Mamu. They don't understand nothing about the fundamentals and what's the purpose of the game. They think it's about running around, step back, shooting a couple threes, and whoever got the most points is the greatest player ever, and whoever else is like Michael Curry. Because Michael Curry, if they change the rules and put him back in the game with some of these young players, where he can play defense like he know how to play, they wouldn't even be able to step on the court. And I think that's why they made it the way they made it now.
Man, you said something powerful, and I use that phrase a lot. You said a lot of us are missing steps.
Yeah.
And man, there's a book called Chop Wood, Carry Water, Falling in Love with the Process of Becoming Great. And they give a lot of examples, but we have lost sight of that, man. We live in a society where it's fast food, fast information, and we think success comes fast. We don't understand that there's a process, man, to becoming knowledgeable. There's a process to developing wisdom. There's a process to becoming educated. There's a process to becoming successful. And you can't skip steps. It's never going to be sustained when you skip steps, right? And this book is phenomenal. I give it to a lot of agents. I give it to a lot of athletes, man. Even CEOs have read this book and say, wow. And it's simple stuff that we know, but we just lose sight because things are just coming at us in all different directions, and we're just moving too fast, and we're not taking the time to sit back. Hold on, man. Let me develop the skill. Let me develop the expertise. And I know anytime I do that, it's going to take time. But it's going to all add up.
Right. And
then it's going to be solid. It's going to be strong, and I'm going to be able to sustain it for long periods of time. But it's you're right. Look, man, I said this to you, I think, before. You got me. You got my number. Anytime, if you do that, long as I'm living and able, and if I feel I got something to say, man, look, you can call me anytime.
Man, I'm definitely all right. Now I'm gonna hold you to that.
Look, that's why I'm saying it publicly. Right?
Okay.
So you can hold me to it.
All right.
Because see, I love information. I don't like just to talk. Really, I like listening more. I love listening to what people have. That's why I read so much. Because reading, you're listening, you're processing what people are saying. And that's what it's about, being able to listen and engage. And you take those nuggets and you begin to slowly try to apply them. Because so much damage has been done to this is not going to happen overnight. You're going to have your ebbs and flows.
Yep.
When you moving, you slipping.
Yeah.
But we need to be having this network of people holds us accountable. Well,
exactly.
Like you call Judge Brown and you call these people that you talk to. And I have my network say, hey, man, I got a question. Hey, man, I'm thinking about this. Or what do you think? Those things are, like you said, you used the word earlier, priceless.
Yes.
And throwing it out there. Because when I throw it out there, I threw it out there because I want you to hold me accountable.
Right.
Remember what you said, right? Like you said this a while back. You said, boy, something about videos.
Yeah. Something about the video.
Yeah, something about those videos. You said this. Well, I got you on video.
Yeah.
Run from
it. Yeah. And so, man, that's what this is about. Like I said, I go off energy. And so once I do get these programs in place, I see you as a guy that can come in and do. You're not just a guy who can teach a kid what I can't, which is shoot free throw. But we ain't gonna talk about that.
No, you can shoot. Matter of fact, you were shooting good with your left hand.
Yeah, in practice. So, but no, on the serious side, like these kids can resonate with a guy who's still young enough that look like them, can still go out there and shoot. I'm telling you, these guys don't understand how your preparation is before a game and how you just hit that switch and turn into somebody else. You're not the guy that's sitting back smiling no more when the lights come on. So, and for you to be able to teach that to these kids, it will be, and you know what I'm saying? They think you're a little guy. You're not a little guy compared to these kids, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you're kind of more their size. So I think seeing a guy like you, seeing what you've gone through, seeing that you're still strong, these kids need to see something like that. So with any programs that I get going, I would love to call you and have you be able to come down and speak, have you come down and work some camps. I got to connect. And if you got anybody else that you got in mind, we got to reconnect the youth with the old school guys, because you guys are the fundamentals. You guys were the reason why we're able to play the way that we're playing now. Well, not the way we're playing now. They made it a business, but before, you know, you guys paved the way for us. So it's about time somebody give you guys your flowers while y'all are here. So that'll be this platform.
And likewise, man, it's always, you know, even when you're dealing with people younger than you, just because a person is older, and I appreciate that, but it's always give and take. You know, we also have to listen to those who are younger than us. Just because we're older doesn't guarantee that we know everything.
Right.
Always learn.
Right.
You know, and that's sometimes a flaw with us when we get older. It's like, what can you tell me? You can't tell. No.
Man.
Look, you can learn from anybody.
Man.
Even what not to do.
Yeah.
But you can learn from anybody. And I'm always observing. I don't just observe and talk to older people. Because when I was young, I surrounded myself around older men and older women. I would just sit and listen. And that was at a time when you just couldn't blurt anything out. You got to kind of raise your hand.
Yeah.
And if they call on you, you talk. If not, you just sit there and listen and absorb.
Yeah.
And but those, look, man. But I also look and I watch young people, not just on the court, but I listen to them. I watch their body language.
Yeah.
And then I'm always trying to, you know, engage them in questions. Like,
yeah.
What do you think about because I want to hear, and I want them to feel like, man, you're really concerned about what I think.
Right.
It's genuine. It ain't just me talking to you. No, I want you to get to the point where I want you to know that I care about what you think. Yeah. And I want you to know too that sometimes I'm gonna disagree with you.
Right.
But it's how I disagree with you.
You better say
it's how I disagree with you that's going to be like, man, you know what? Okay, that felt uncomfortable, but there was no arrogance in it.
Right.
And you sit with that discomfort. But then you come out of it like, you know what, man, having somebody disagree with you ain't all, wow, okay, I'm not so sensitive now.
Right.
And then you're able to hear a feedback. So, okay, I can see where my thinking wasn't correct.
Right.
Or you may find out, sometimes we as adults got to say, you know what, young fella, you put something on my mind just then I ain't even think about.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Right.
So there's always that giving. Sometimes we got too much pride and we let somebody know that's younger than us that, you know, you just taught me something.
Right.
You influenced me. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because that's going to motivate them later. Like, wow, I got a voice.
Right.
I have something to say.
Mm-hmm.
See, because a lot of times we were like, you know what I mean? For us, sometimes, hey,
you better not say nothing.
Spoken to. So sometimes you don't even know you want to talk no more. You're like, oh shoot. But no, that's, man, look, Kwame, I think those are valuable tools to learn, man, and to convey. And I'm here, man. I'm here. Yeah. I'm always looking to learn. And whatever I can, and if it resonates, it resonates.
But see, what you just displayed as an elder, that you didn't have to be this humble. And so that's the type of elder that can reach these kids. These kids know that they're smart. They've been given so much technology. They're just misguided. They just got a little bit of a temper. You got to be subtle with them. So your temperament and the way that you relate to them first, and you try to induce things out of them. You get them to talking first instead of just, a lot of elders try to tell young people what to do and put things in their head. And they're like, wait a minute, I know what I want to say. I know how to articulate myself. Stop telling me what it is, how I feel, and let me explain it to you. And that's what they're doing in the media. Instead of, no one's talked to me, but everyone said everything about my mental state, about why I'm mad, about how I'm a buzz. And they do that to these children. When they reach a certain level, when they're adults or whatever, you get a job, you talk down and you talk at people. And I think these younger guys are picking up on that very well. So we gotta get the right type of elders like yourself around these young kids, and I think it'll unlock their mind. So we definitely gotta do this again.
I love to, man. I love to. I know they're upset right now that they woke. I know they're wishing right now they would have kept you asleep, but they woke up a sleeping giant. But look, man, there's so many people out there, and I know you know this already, and I know you're not looking for the kudos, but because you're on a mission, and for you it's just about being factual and truthful. But there's a lot of people out there, man, that really love what you're doing and appreciate your candor, your genuineness, and your being organic and raw. And we're not perfect, but we strive to be perfect.
Absolutely.
So just keep using this platform, man, to educate. Yeah. And I love the fact you keep bringing it back to the youth. You keep bringing it back to unity. You keep bringing it back to building. And that's what we need to hear more of, man. So my hat goes off to you, man. And I told him, I said, look, man, I said, I was in the big three. I said, I'm not surprised. I said, because so many times y'all take a man's silence as a weakness. I said, I've seen him about to go at Gary. And I've seen him like, holding in, like, all right, like you're not saying it, but in your mind, you're like, I'm trying to give you a pass. You're like scratching your head, like,
I'm like, whoa, what's my safe word?
It comes out and said, hold on. What's wrong with you? What you mean what's wrong with me, man? You kept on pushing this button. So I said, look, don't play him weak.
Tell everybody how to get in contact with you on your social media. If you got any, and let everybody know that you cool with, because I got respect for you. If they got any products they want to promote, if you got any products you want to promote, just shoot me a text. We can promote it on my site. I won't charge nothing.
Oh man, I appreciate you. But no, they can just reach me on Instagram, man. Mahmoud MAHMOUDAR123.
Okay.
Yeah, and
you got any Facebook or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm Facebook. But shoot, they got so many goddamn people. You know how people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know the one they gonna get. Yeah. So that's the one.
Okay. Tell them one more time. It's the Instagram. What is it?
Right away, but I'm always trying to respond to people, man, and show love. So yeah. Tell
them your Instagram one more time again.
MAHMOUDAR123. Mahmoud AR123.
All right, y'all go support this brother. I know, everybody, all the younger cats. I think everybody know of you because of course, the comparison with Steph Curry. So I think you're gonna get a lot of young cats asking you a lot of questions. So I hope they go and flood you and get some of that wisdom.
Yeah, man. But much love always, man.
Yes, sir.
And I thank you for bringing me on, man.
Man, thanks for coming, man. Hey, look, I'm gonna shoot you a little text, man. We gotta do this again.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
You got me. You got me. You got me. All right, brother.
All right, baby. Okay.
Yes, sir. Man, that's my guy. Man, I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. I told you this go along, get along thing is bigger than me. It's not about me. We're gonna connect these youth. The youth are failing, and I think it's because us adults are failing. We're fighting, and we're searching for the next wave to ride, and we're losing our children. So I just want to be an olive branch, because a lot of the things that I know, if you heard what Brother Mahmoud said, he used to sit and observe the elders. He watched his mother. He watched older people, men and women. And that's how we learn. And so that's what I did when I was young. So we must connect these children back to the elders. We got social media raising our children. We have video games raising our children. We have celebrities raising our children. And that's a recipe for disaster. And you can see it playing out in the streets. So if you like what's going on now, I don't know why would you, but I think it's time we change and we start being more united. And I don't appreciate the fact that people keep saying, "Oh, he going at certain black people." Well, the black people that I'm going at, play it to a lesser charge, and the black people that I'm going at, keep going at other black people like Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and they go at everybody black. So the black people that's going at black people, I already said, I go after the go along, get along gang. I don't go after people that don't go after people. And all of the people that I mentioned me. So I wish you guys peace and blessings. I have to go enjoy my family. They told me if I make another video without taking them to dinner, they're going to swing on me. So I got to go be a daddy. I got to go to dinner, and I got to go play Connect Four and video games and whatever else they want to do. So y'all have a blessed day. I might can jump back on late tonight. I might. Maybe I'll try, because I guess I try mean that's integrity, but I'm trying mean I might not. Okay, I might not be able to get back on later. It depends on if I'm sleepy or not. Okay, but y'all make sure y'all go support that brother Mahmoud. He has a beautiful spirit. He's always been a humble, respectful, but don't take humbleness. They love to throw that humble word on black men. No, he'll tell you like it is. You don't care how tall he is. He gonna tell you you can tell his strength and his presence when he walk in the room. Ain't the biggest guy, but you could tell he a man. So that's what we got to get young men back to. You don't got to step on someone's toes to show you a man. You can just do it with your presence and your aura and the way that you move and carry yourself. So you guys have a blessed day, and I'll try to get back on track. But I might just have to be a daddy the rest of the day and night. So y'all have a blessed one. Appreciate y'all watching.